Well, as we've been telling you this morning, it could cost you more to grocery shop next year. Food prices are set to rise 3.5% in the new year, with the average Canadian family expected to spend an additional $400 on food. Joining us now from Halifax, the lead author of that report, Sylvain Charlebois. Good to have you with us this morning, Sylvain. I guess the first question is, why? Why are prices going up?
Well, inflation, really, it's the economy. That's the way it works. But every year we're trying to figure out what drives food inflation. And this year's story is really vegetables. We are expecting a new cycle with El Niño, which will bring a lot of moisture to Asia and South America, less so in areas that matters a lot to us, the United States and Mexico. So to buy vegetables that we need, particularly in the wintertime, we are likely going to have to pay a little bit more for those vegetables.
Okay, so let's go and look at the last few years when it comes to food and prices. In 2017, we saw an increase in food prices of 1.8%. We said at the beginning of this segment 3.5% for this year. So how then do shoppers take that dollar to have it go as far as possible in the grocery store?
Yeah, there's lots of things you can do. First of all, gas prices are much lower now than last year, so you're saving there. So you could actually take those savings and invest more in vegetables. But in the grocery store, there's some options, interesting options. You can perhaps visit the freezer aisle a little bit more often. Granted, it doesn't taste the same. I get it. However, it's the same nutritional value. And so you'll get more for less, essentially. And the other thing that we don't talk much about is food service. We go out a lot. So if a family can take it easy on going out for next year, you'll save a little bit.
So now let's talk about something that your report found that really was quite surprising, that for the first time in 9 years, you actually had the price of meat and seafood go down. So this is something I don't know that anybody anticipated. So any ideas why that might be, and then how that would impact the industry, specifically the farmers, specifically the fishermen? What's behind this?
Yeah, no, well, it's our modeling. So every year we're mostly accurate with our predictions. Now, this is the first time we actually are going ahead with a negative forecast. So -1 to -3. So meat lovers can rejoice, or barbecue lovers can rejoice for next year. I think there's a couple of things going on there. On the one side, there's lots of products to be sold. Their inventories are quite high. On the other hand, I think we all know that consumers are slowly walking away from some meat products, and in particular, beef. And so I suspect that there's going to be a lot of butchers and retailers out there in 2019 that will want to give beef its mojo back and try to get consumers to buy beef again.
There's a quotable line, Sylvain. Finally, we only have a few moments left, but this is a really interesting thing. You've actually discovered a connection between the edibles and cannabis industry and the food market, finding that there is a very high percentage of people who are actually saying they're curious and interested to try edibles. But how does that impact the food market?
Yeah, so edibles. So 2019 will be an historical year for cannabis. Edibles will be coming on stream. Of all Canadians that are favorable to the legalization of cannabis, 93% are willing to try an edible product. So the food industry is getting ready, and it knows that Canadians will want that product, that intrigue. So anything with cannabis in it will likely be will probably be a premium product, and you will probably have to pay a little bit more for those products. So it may actually increase food inflation for those types of products.
Absolutely fascinating study indeed, Sylvain. Good to have you with us to talk about it this morning.
My pleasure.